episode number 43 with Steve and Mike. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
And this is Mike Snyderman. How you doing, Steve?
Excellent, excellent. We've been on a little hiatus for probably, 2.5 weeks? You just got back? How do you feel?
2 weeks without Barton feels like 17 years in the desert, Steve. Yeah, it's been a while.
I bet.
The agony, physical, emotional, and mental, it's just too much, yeah.
Yeah, I bet it feels good to have me back in your life, doesn't it?
So what's new with you here? You must have like 2 new houses, a new plane.
Oh, man. Let's see.
Couple Oakland Raider cheerleaders showed up at your house looking for a foursome, and you're like, no. Bring one more over. I only do fivesomes now. You're on a roll in life, is what I'm saying.
Well, things are looking pretty good. We probably have about 20% of our stuff packed. We're moving in exactly 1 month. Went down and talked to the tenants the other day. They're looking for a place. It looks like they're finding several places. We're going to start getting calls from landlords soon about just asking me about them, making sure they're good renters. And honestly, they are. They've been the best renters I've ever had. And we're going to get a cat, Mr. Kicks. There's a cat in the neighborhood that he's got a collar, but no one's really kind of taken ownership of him. You know, he kind of goes around from door to door, and people feed him and give him water. The neighbors are taking care of him until my wife and I get there. But so that'll be cool. Looking forward to having the cat. And what else? The plane's in the shop right now. It's having some work done on it.
You don't like talking about the personal stuff, Steve, but I can't help thinking, we've never asked you here. How come you and your wife decided not to have kids? You cannot answer that. Say
no, we can go into that.
Because now I'm just looking at you as holding this cat to your chest, wishing it was a child here. You know, I just had a flash of sadness wash over me.
You know, I probably about 6 or 8 years ago, I got a vasectomy, and I don't know where that came from. I've just never imagined myself with kids, and
I think it's a medical procedure, vasectomy, right?
It is, yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. You wonder where it came from. I was going to say the fact that you lit a bunch of firecrackers under your balls. I'm pretty sure that. Okay,
that probably would have been cheaper, but a lot more painful.
So 6 to 8 years ago, is this because you were just a man whore at the time and refusing to use condoms, and you're like, well,
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I don't go into it much on the podcast, but yeah, I was. I was pretty late getting started. I didn't lose my virginity until I was probably 20 or 21 or 22, and then once I did, I was just out of control.
Wow.
And
once you became Bill Cosby's wingman, things began falling into place?
They did, yeah. I mean, I studied it like I do poker now. And it was, towards the end, I was actually teaching guys how to do it. We would go out to the mall, and I would show them, how to get a girl's phone number. And it even got so ridiculous. We would take a video camera, and they would videotape me while I'm doing it, right in front of the girl. And then I would videotape them, and then right after they're done and they got her phone number, I would show them exactly on the film. I would say, okay, see, you could have touched her elbow here, you could have moved in for a kiss here, you could have, we'd just run through it really quick. And it was amazing to me looking back that the girls never asked about the camera. I couldn't believe it. I think they were just so taken in. I don't know.
Wow.
But yeah.
Other than a documentary I saw about Auschwitz, never have I been so horrified and terrified in all my life. The idea of you as a pickup artist / coach here is just, wow.
Yeah, it was.
Steve, I really need. I might need to I need to reassess here. I mean, I've been so underestimating you from the beginning. It's just, I have to question my own powers of perception here. I don't.
Yeah, it's not something I've really gone into on the podcast, but that was me about 5 years ago. It very different, very different. Looking back, I think it was important for me to go through that because I wasn't very comfortable socially, and what it taught me was how to befriend groups of people. Especially I think it taught me more about how to befriend guys because most of the time when you go out, it's rare that a girl's by herself. Most of the time she's in a group of three or four girls, or even more often than that, there'll be one or two guys with two or three girls, or maybe two guys with one girl. And, high status girls have guys around them. And so you have to learn how to befriend those guys so that they introduce you to her and then they want you to take her. It's a different life back then.
I don't know what to do with this information here. I really don't. Clayton Fletcher hanging at the Playboy Mansion, banging playmates. You're running around. If I ever turn on Carlos's Twitch channel and see like a couple sorority sisters sitting in there, I am fucking done with. I am done with humanity, man. I just won't be able to take it anymore.
You got a tweet from Lapper the other day talking about some of our idiosyncrasies, didn't you?
Yeah, I made a conscious point trying not to say I know every 3 seconds, but fuck him,
My wife and I were
I got a learning disability, Steve, for God's sakes. I mean, it's like I stopped stuttering just like 6 days ago. I mean, even that I've been fighting for years. But I'm sorry, you and your wife were. Please not say picking up women at the shopping mall because I just
no, we weren't doing that. No,
I don't want any more of this today. Okay.
No, we were trying to come up with some of the things that you and I say quite a bit on the podcast. She doesn't listen very much, but the few times that she's listened, she's picked them up pretty quick. And I've noticed that with a lot of regularity, I say, right on, right on, right on.
Right.
I also say, good. Really? Well, that's interesting. And then you do a lot of.
I do like your. You have to not do that because I can actually like see the smoke coming from your ears, and just your gray matter just grinding away trying to grasp something. Those I enjoy. First of all,
one that you always do too is you'll say, "Oh, he's right." You do say, "I know," or you'll also go, "I know."
Right.
Have you noticed that?
That's funny.
Anyways.
The Russian chick, yeah, I say that all the time.
Anyways.
The Russian chick I just spent 10 days with in Greece was funny. She was, I was listening to the podcast one day, wanted to hear the Clayton one. And she listened to a few minutes and she's like, those other guys speak very clearly. I understand everything they're saying. It's funny how, she's those European women in general, but the Russian, the hardness of their souls and the tough-mindedness of their mind. She didn't pull any strings there. But I'm very self-conscious about how I speak. But it's kind of like if I have time, if I'm going to put efforts into self-improvement, I have other areas I can work on.
Well, I think it's just who we are. I think you got more of a radio voice than I do. But how was your trip? Start out from the beginning. How was Paris? Did you get to see anything, or what? Was it too fast?
Yeah. For those I had a 12-hour layover in Paris, so I immediately. Well, the problem was, first of all, Louvre was closed.
Oh shit!
On a Tuesday. I don't know if it's a standard day it's closed or if there was something construction going on.
Huh.
And then driving rain, like ridiculous. And so I used that as an excuse to sit in a cafe and read one of my favorite novels all day, pretty much.
Okay.
No, I walked up and down the Champs-Élysées and saw the Arc de Triomphe and whatever, and a few other. Cool. I stopped at the Cathedral of Notre Dame, but I didn't. It was a long line. It was raining. I didn't want to go in, and I saw the Eiffel Tower from afar. Okay, cool. I mean, it's just a pleasant experience walking down the narrow old European streets, and the vertical nature of the city with the older buildings, and so I enjoyed it.
Sometimes that's the best part of traveling is when you just have those little moments and you're just sipping an espresso in a cafe and reading a book,
Precisely.
Yeah.
Then from there, there was a problem. There was the rain was so bad on roads. The island I was going to, the airport was closed. So they dropped us off an adjacent island, and we had to wait for 5 hours for a bus to take us to the ferry, which just then took like 3.5 hours to get to Rhodes. So I got there. All in all, it took me like, I want to say 38.5 hours to get from San Diego to Rhodes.
Oh, wow.
But it was not unpleasant. That ferry ride was so beautiful that it almost made it worth it. Just getting on at sunrise and driving by a couple other islands, and we had to stop on another island on the way there. So that was wonderful, and the vacation went well too.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, good weather for me. The lady I was with really wanted to do like the history, but after 3 days, I'm like, you know what? I love the old stones here, but these beaches are nice.
Yeah.
So I kind of got my way. The second half of the vacation, anyways, was basically just hanging out at the beach.
Yeah.
And
that's my idea of a vacation: just sitting on the beach, doing fucking nothing, reading a book and drinking a beer. I love that.
Yeah.
Completely vacating. Doing no work, having no schedule. It doesn't matter when you wake up, doesn't matter when you go to sleep, doesn't matter what you do. I love that.
If I was, I was a little frustrated at times that I was there with a female companion. Frankly, there were so many women around.
Yeah.
And it's like a beach, it's like a vacation island. So people are going there just to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was, I kind of wanted to meet a couple of women there, because the one time I went out to eat alone, I just went out and got a burger. I mean, I had the bartender's phone number within just a couple of minutes. This really hot chick, and we were supposed to. I kind of made pseudo plans with her just in case the other thing didn't work out.
Yeah.
I was thinking of just coming up, feigning a heart attack, and don't worry, I'll go to the hospital on my own, and then rushing off.
I'll drive myself.
I mean, I'm like wildly unscrupulous, but I like never do anything wrong just because I'm paranoid about getting caught, and I'm not a good liar. That's the kind of thing,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So, do you think you'll see her again, or?
Difficult to say. If I was at all a man of substance, this should be like my. The way I've dealt with love addiction, Steve, is just trying not to even go in that way. But this is a really cool chick. She's interesting. I mean, she's got a PhD in political science.
Wow.
She has I have all these intellectual pretensions, which I've now realized are all a bunch of like this woman has all of like Shakespeare's sonnets memorized.
Wow.
And she wanted to let's see, I just tried to pause on there, but it's anyways, just very erudite and good company. She's a former like competitive figure skater, not like super top of the food chain, but she still figure skates. So she's tall and very
athletic,
very fit.
Yeah.
But I was talking to my one buddy, and because my ex-fiance I just couldn't even stand listening to her 90% of the time, just the stuff she was complaining about. And this woman was interesting, but we went for like a ride, and an hour into it, I'm like, what'd be cool if she was just quiet for a long time right now.
Uh-huh.
And I could just crank the tunes. So that's just, I don't know if that's probably just a part of my protracted solitude, spending so much of my life as an adult, just, being alone, whatever. But I thought loneliness was suffering, but now I'm realizing it's kind of the benefit of on certain levels. But we'll see. She's worthy of seeing again. I might fly her to come to California and spend some time here. I was thinking, although she can't take any vacations for a few. I'm sorry?
How old is she?
36.
36, right now.
8 years younger than me.
That's always good.
About time. Yeah. We had a few polite arguments. She's very strong Russian views over all the crimes of America, which I kind of agree with. Anyways, I think America's foreign policy is insane, but just for fun, I would stir it up.
Yeah.
Just for entertainment purposes.
Yes. Yes.
So how's the poker going, Steve? I know you're enamored with the coaching. It sounds like you're busy with the move. Did you have a couple good long grind days the last couple of weeks?
I did. I had a couple of them. I've learned playing on Mondays isn't the greatest on ACR, but I am able to like six table those turbos on demand, which does make it entertaining and fun. So if that's the only day I have to grind, I can definitely make the most of it. Sundays are by far the best, but that goes without saying. Saturdays are better, and then during the week has been good too. But yeah, I got my first check off of ACR. Well, I mean, I requested my first check off of ACR. I haven't gotten it yet, so we'll see how long it takes to get here. I'm kind of curious about that.
What does your shark scope graph look like these days? Do you have a little shark? Do you have a little shark swimming next to you still?
Let's see. I haven't looked it up in a while. Let's see. Shark scope. We will type in Sigaba. Okay.
Google Barton Sharks Shopping Mall.
Let's see. Here we go. Ah, my little shark is gone.
Uh-oh.
I need another score.
Okay.
It's probably all those little turbos on demand I've been playing.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think I burned my. I don't think I'm going to go back to. Well, I think I'm going to be doing a lot of Ubering here, but when I do play, I think it's going to be Bovada for a while because I have money on there. And, maybe this will help my game grow. There's just not enough chips to splash around like I like to, so maybe that'll help if I play it. I'll have to play a tighter range.
Yeah.
I actually, last time, I also talked about playing quickly the main event of the Commerce Series, the 1650.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I had kind of an interesting day there, if we want me to give a quick summary without doing any hands.
Yeah.
Because we talk about how there's only so many tournaments you go deep in, where you really have to take advantage of it. Like final tables, you really have to go for those first couple. And never mind there's only so often you make it to like mid-late stages with a healthy stack.
Yeah.
So you have to, and I was on a miserable streak of like 13 and 14 in a row, bricked tournaments and, a little downswing online. So finally I had some good stuff going on. I thought I was playing really well, I thought. I basically was just holding on to my starting stack forever because I was just card dead. But I was watching everyone at my table and really thought I knew how to exploit them. So finally, I'm still at the starting stack on level 10, and then I win a couple pots, and finally I get almost a full double with aces. And I guess, well, I don't know. I mean, there's one guy who was check raising like all the time from the blinds. So basically I went from like 80,000 chips to 140,000 chips without getting a hand on this table because I knew if I had chips what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I think my highest was like 143K, where this one guy was check raising a lot. So I even my bet sizing, I opened from like the button knowing kind of hoping he would check raise so I could re-raise, which is what I did. But I made my C bet really small. So he thought I'd be scared and he raised, then I repopped it and he folded.
Yeah.
And then there's guys 3-betting a lot. I mean, none of this is like high level shit, but a lot of people.
But it's how you pick up chips when you don't have hands.
I mean, this is kind of, a lot of people aren't going to take these spots. So, I feel kind of happy that I did. But guy was like 3-betting a lot. So I cold 4-bet him and took a pot down. And somebody else I donklet. So I get my chips up there. And the last hand before my table breaks, I opened king, queen, and the flop is king, deuce, deuce. Anyways, a guy defended his big blind with 8 deuce.
Yeah.
And ended up I lost the minimum. I checked behind on the turn and then called his river bet where he could have popped it on the river big, but he only bet like 40%. But already I probably, basically that table broke. Then I went to another table. When I was 140K, by the way, the chip average was like 70K. And so I had to live with this on my Greek vacation. I dusted off my stack in the last hour and a half of the night before they bagged. And I busted the last hand of the night. So I had a chance to bag. I want to say 45 people got paid. We're going to get paid in this tournament. And I was busted like 58th or something. I think it was 57 people or something we're going to bag for day 2. So, yeah, I mean, some of the hands I won't even. I for some reason, I think the first tournament I won, I raised a couple rivers, and we've discussed this. It's like an addiction or something. I think I pick my spots pretty well and do that okay. But I opened deuce 3 and raised the river on there was an ace, but there was a second 10 on the river, and I raised real big on the river. And this guy actually took a little bit. He called. He had a 10. He had trips. But I saw it wasn't a horrible move. I saw this guy before 3-bet with jacks and then fold to a shove.
Wow.
Where he was getting like ridiculous odds, like 2-1 against. It was only for like a third of his stack, not even. And he folded the jacks face up, and the other guy showed ace king. I mean, the other guy definitely had a strong range, but this guy was nitty. In other words, so I think if he had just an ace there, I was getting a fold. So I can't. That was another one, but There was some shove fold stuff. I just played really bad. Hands I shouldn't have opened and then had to call to shove and typical shit. And
Yeah.
but anyways, that was tough because this was like 12 hours before I had to jump on a plane.
Yeah.
So that was. But I'm dealing. You can tell I deal with this shit better than I did 6 months ago.
You do.
Mentally, emotionally, I'm just like, well, I'll play better next time.
Yeah.
But this was all on my dime. It's funny. Whenever I say never again, I said never again will I play a 1K or higher without at least selling a piece of myself, which I didn't here, of course. So we'll see where I go from here. I'm not impoverished, but it's been a kind of an ugly stretch here. So we'll see. I might hopefully grind things up patiently again on Bovada while I Uber it.
Yeah. You enjoying the Ubering?
Not really.
No, not so much.
No, it's okay. It's okay. While you do it, it's fun. But it's just like I said, it's just not lucrative. It's when I do that, it's just like Jesus. Why can't I? If I was just a little smarter, a little more diligent, a little more character, I could be freaking making $60 an hour at the freaking casino, 6 feet from my door here, rather than Ubering it for $12 an hour.
Yeah.
But, growth experience, Steve. Growth.
Yes.
This is what I have to tell myself.
Yes.
So should we discuss a few hands here, or what do we have upcoming on the show here? Is there anything we want to? Do we have any good guests coming on? Do we know?
We do. We've got Jonathan Little is coming up. We've got. I think we finally nailed down Derek Tenbush, so he should be coming up soon. And Daryl Jace is going to be coming on. So.
Wow.
That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to Jonathan Little. I've wanted to have him on for a long time. And after talking with Elliot, he's like, oh, yeah, he's my friend. You want me to have him message you? I'm like, yeah. So within 15 minutes, Jonathan was sending me a message. I'm like, well, this was a hell of a lot easier than I thought it would be. So that worked out well. But, yeah, so he's coming on. We're going to talk about his new book, and I'm going to have a bunch of hands for him. So. I'm excited.
Pretty cool beans, Steve. Nice work.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. I do have a couple of hands here.
Okay.
First though, let's pay some bills. If you haven't already, go to our website, HeadsUpPoker.Poker, and you can get a free MP3 by Elliot Rowe. You help out your favorite podcast, and you get a free MP3 in the process. It's a meditation tape. It's a hypnosis tape. So what you do is you listen to this before you play, and you listen to it after you're done. And it will start to influence you subconsciously in the areas of tilt. If you find yourself tilting and maybe not taking bad beats, this will allow you to just dust them off. I personally use these before and after each session, and I've even gotten Mike to download one of them. Head over to HeadsUpPoker.Poker, and you'll see a picture of Mike and I on the site. Wait a few seconds, and then the Elliot Rowe MP3 link will come up. Click on that and get your free MP3. Okay.
Steve, what was your pregame routine for terrorizing high school girls at the mall? Did you meditate with your boys, your students? Did you all take some shots, take a few hits from the bong, down some whiskey,
light up a J before we go out?
I just told myself I never want to hear about that again, and here I am heading back into that. But actually, I'm fascinated. At some point, we'll have to.
What would we do? They'd meet at the house. Then we would.
Oh dear.
We'd actually have props. So for me, it was magic. I would have cards and coins and stuff like that to do magic tricks. We'd practice some of the routines just to kind of get them over. And then once we got to the mall, to kind of get into that social mood, we would I'd make sure that each one of them talked to at least 3 people, just starting out by saying like, hi, how's your day going? It didn't have to be a girl, just anybody, just to kind of get the part of your brain warmed up to talk to people. And then after that, then we would start approaching women. I think your question was kind of meant as a joke, but there really was a warm-up routine for it.
Oh, it was a joke, Steve. No longer. It's now a cautionary tale.
Yes. Yeah, very different
So
back then.
at one point, did the local medical association tackle you at the mall and give you a vasectomy against your will? That'd be the more interesting question. When the people of Oxnard stand up and fight against this moral rot. No. Okay, let's talk poker hands and nothing again for at least 3 years. Please.
Okay, all right. Okay. Let's see what we got here. We've got this.
By the way, I hate to hesitate again. I'm listening to us discussing. I mean, with slight hyperbole, I'm always talking about how I can't even stand listening to myself talk about strategy because I get it wrong. But I'm listening to, again, us talking to Clayton about like, oh, you can't 4-bet queens. Like he did the optimal play. Somebody 3-bet him. He 4-bet queens, shoved it in there, 27 bigs. He did absolutely the correct thing. And somehow I'm always trying to find my personality just wants to disagree with the conventional wisdom. But anyway, Steve,
you know what? Going back to that, hand. Now that you bring it up, thinking about that, I think shoving. There's nothing wrong there with shoving. I mean, I like shoving, and I don't think I emphasized that in last week's episode. I definitely like shoving, but I like calling more, just because. Well, maybe I'm putting myself in the villain's shoes too much, because if I were in the villain's shoes, like I said, I'd be 3-betting with a lot of crap. But the way he described the villain, I don't think the villain is. I think the villain's, I think the villain's only 3-betting with quality hands. And if he shoves there, I think the villain could possibly fold 9s and 10s, maybe even jacks, as tight as he described them. And as long as he took to call with the ace-king, makes me not like the shove as much.
But he can also steal the pot from you with 10s and jacks post flop if there's an ace or a king on board. That's the other problem. So,
that's where you have a decision.
All I was saying is Clayton was breaking it down more intelligently than I was, in my opinion. But you can certainly make an argument for flatting there. But people can go back and listen to the previous episode if they forgot us discussing the hand, or if they haven't heard it. But no, we weren't giving any like hideous advice, I don't think. But we were straining too hard to
come up with some other than obvious play.
Yeah. He's got the third. Finally, he's getting sick of us. He's like, "Well, this is the third best hand in poker."
Yeah, I know. That was a fun episode. That was fun. Clayton was pretty humorous. It was cool. I guess he should be. He's a comedian, but it was still cool. It was fun. But okay, all right. On to the strategy. Okay, we are. This is I believe it's a $40 tournament. It's a 6 max. And we, no, I take that back. It's a 55 6 max. 55 6 max. We are in a ways because the blinds are 50 and 100. So it's still early, approaching middling stages of the tournament. We have 113 big blinds, and let's see, everyone else has 86, 41, 33, and 120. We're 5-handed in this hand. We are in the big blind with Queen Jack offsuit. The cutoff raises to 3x. He raises to 300. The small blind folds. We're in the big blind with Queen Jack offsuit. We're always completing here, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking the same things. Too strong to fold. Re-raising here. I think he's only calling with better, and he's folding worse hands, so I want to take a flop. Okay, so I complete. The pot is now 650, and the flop comes King of Spades, 2 of Clubs, 9 of Hearts, and I've got the Queen of Spades, Jack of Hearts. The villain who opened, his numbers after 97 hands. His numbers are 26, 21, 8.6.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got 41 bigs. So we do have a spade blocker. We have a heart blocker for the backdoor flushes. And on King of Spades, 2 of Clubs, 9 of Hearts, are you checking this? Are you betting? What are you thinking?
Probably check calling. You got a gutter ball.
Okay.
You got some equity there.
That was my thought. Okay. I check. He bets half pot. He bets 325 into 650. and I call, hoping to hit the 10. The turn,
Not only hoping to hit the 10, but hoping like he shuts it down on the turn. Maybe he just has a random ace and you can steal it on the river, I'm assuming, too.
yeah. Okay, the turn pairs the board. It's the 9 of spades. So with Queen of spades, Jack of hearts, the board is now King of spades, 2 of clubs, 9 of hearts, 9 of spades.
Okay.
What are you thinking here? There's 1,300 in the pot. I've got 10K behind. He has 3,400 behind.
I mean, it wouldn't be a horrible card to donk lead. I mean, you could certainly have a 9 in your range. I mean, he's never folding king there, but you are getting him to fold all his ace highs.
Okay.
I don't like check calling, I can say right away.
Yeah.
If he bets, it's very suspicious because he should be pot controlling any pair, and he's almost repping only a 9. So I would probably be leaning towards either check folding or check raising, depending on what he does here. If he checks behind, I guess if you check, goes check, check, I guess I'm maybe going to take a shot on the river, depending on what the card is.
Okay. All right. I was going to go for the check raise line. And I check, and then he checks behind.
Okay.
Now the river is a blank. It's a 6 of diamonds. So the final board is King of spades, 2 of clubs, 9 of hearts, 9 of spades, 6 of diamonds.
I mean, I guess you got to take a shot at it. Try to take it down. I mean, like I said, the poker, we always said it a million times, the people are getting better, the edges are getting smaller. Even if this is like a casual player, he knows a lot of guys are just, you're going to be calling with nothing just to try to steal it later. So I don't know if you're getting him to fold a pair here. I mean, again, I don't know enough about the villain. I mean, I would be snapping you off with pocket fours, personally. You know what I mean? At least at this stage. Of course, he doesn't have a lot of chips, but so yeah, I mean, you don't have that much invested. I guess check giving up isn't horrible. Although you hate to see him win it with ace high. But I guess that's the question. Will he fold ace high here? I don't think he's folding a pair. Okay. But I mean, just in your thought of it, if you decide to bet here, what is in your mind? What are you getting him to fold?
I'm hoping to get him to fold ace high.
Do you think there's a chance he's going to fold any pairs? Is he folding pocket 7s or 8s or something? One of the middle.
I don't think so.
Pairs?
Not especially when the board paired there. I mean, if like the turn was like a 10, maybe. Of course, if the turn is a 10, I got the nuts and I want him to call. But I'm thinking, if the turn was like probably a 10, jack, or queen, which would actually make my hand, then he's probably folding like 5, 7s, and 8s.
Right. Although we want to say right away, well, when he checks back turn, he probably has ace high. But he's got a lot of pairs there, too, where he just doesn't want to get blown off his equity or just wants to wants to pot control. So I agree that there's going to be a lot of aces in his range, and I think he's going to fold those more often than not. But I'll be curious what you do here. I don't know.
Okay, if you were going to steal the pot, and there's 1,300 in there, what would you bet?
I have a tell. The bigger my bet sizing on the river, the less likely I have it.
Okay.
If I have a straight here or a 9, I'm going to bet 50% of the pot. Where I mean, I know I'm just saying this because I know it's a leak. Because, So my first instinct is like, if you really want to feel strongly that he's going to fold an ace high, you might have to go big here.
Bet like pot or even more?
Yeah, like 1133 or something, I don't. That really shouldn't change his calling range. That widely, the bet sizing, but I just think it does. We were talking about that one hand, I forget exactly, with James Gettinger, and I was like arguing for the overbet, and he's like, well, you're putting in 40% more money and you're only getting to fold 5% more hands.
Yeah.
But I think there's spots where it kind of drastically changes the calling range.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what were you thinking here?
Hey, looking at this now, I'm wishing I had bet, like you said, like 11, 1200, maybe even try an overbet of like 1500,
Right.
just to experiment and learn. I went for my standard line here, and in a pot of 1300, I bet 888. And he did take a while, but he finally called, and he had ace jack for ace high.
Right.
And so that makes me think I should have either gone bigger on the river, or I should have led the turn and then got and then made it big on the river, something that would like put them all in. But
yeah. I mean, I don't think that's horribly played by you.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if I definitely would not be thinking like, I don't know if I would be thinking at any point in the hand, well, let's try to size it, bet sizing, so I can put him to the test for his whole stack.
Yeah. The funny thing is until he checked back the turn, I wasn't too sure what his hand was, But when he checks back the turn, it's like you said, I think he almost always has ace high there, or he's got something like, fives through tens, something like that.
He could have a king there, especially just how people play poker these days. People are just going to fire the river so often there. Like with your air, I mean, as it turns out, you were planning a check raise. So if he had a king, if he can had a big hand, and he wants to bet the turn, because he's going to induce you to throw more chips in there. But well, it turns out you had him ranged properly. It turns out, but I'm not against the average villain. I'm just saying, there's a lot of pairs he's checking back, even kings on that turn.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to try to get me to fire on the river like I did, huh?
Or not, like I said, just you don't want to be put in a horrible position with just one pair when there's a paired board there.
Yeah, when he's got like, king 8 suited or something, and he's like, well, he would call in the big blind there and not re-raise with king 9, king 10, king jack. Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to think. I don't know how much the bet sizing would change things there.
Yeah.
Like I said, the overbet probably would have gotten a fold, especially when you're that deep. Maybe it's worth a shot.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that one kind of left me with a sour taste in my mouth when I was reviewing it. I'm like, I think that's a hint for the podcast. Okay, I've got another one here. I have pocket kings in the small blind. I've got 97 bigs.
This is the same turn. This is the same tournament.
Yeah, all these hands are the same tournament.
Okay.
Blind level is the same. It's 50, 100. It folds around to me in the small blind. We do have antes now though, so I guess it's not the same level. It's the next one up. So the blinds are 50, 100. Antes are 10. So the total pot before anyone enters is 210. I've got king of spades, king of hearts in the small blind. It folds to me, and I raise it up to 333 in the small blind, and the big blind calls.
Mm-hmm. This is part of your new policy for it's like either limp or 3.5x kind of thing.
Yeah.
I have to. I'm going to be waiting till Mark is going to be giving me his high level coaching, but I think you were talking about that a few weeks ago, so I just wanted to clarify that your bet sizing there.
Yeah. If I'm going to be out of position for the rest of the hand, then I want to raise more. If I'm going to be in position, then I'm more likely to raise less. Basically, I'm going over that with Tony right now on his bet sizing, because he was making it the same sizing all the way around the table. He's playing 6 max cash. And I'm like, okay, let's try to raise more from early position and raise less when you're on the button, and kind of make it a gradual descending. And later stages in tournaments, if I'm under the gun, full ring, if I'm under the gun under the gun or under the gun +1. Late stages the blinds get so big I just min raise, but under the gun and under the gun +1 I make it like 2.2, and then like under the gun +1 I'll make it like 2.15 or 2.1, just a little bit more because in all likelihood if anybody calls they're going to have position on you and you want to make a pay for it.
Well, how about, sorry, go back to the small blind. Are you raising your entire small blind thing because you're out of position, or do you have a limping range there as well?
Oh, I got a limping range, yeah. Yeah, so sometimes it's this little game I'll kind of play when I have a villain on my left for a long time. I'll start out just by limping, regardless of my hand, and then basically min betting every flop. And some players, they just never, ever play back, and I'm able to steal every single pot. So I continue that pattern until they play back. If they play back, if I limp and then they raise, unless I've got some hand that I want to play a flop without a position, I let it go. Now he's set up a different pattern. So if the blinds are still real small, this works better in early stages in tournaments than it does in late, because you've got a lot more big blinds than you do late, where you don't want to be like limp folding with 9 big blinds or something at late stages of a tournament. But early stages, I set up this pattern, and then what I'll do is I'll limp again, and if he raises me again, I'll either 3-bet or fold him and set up a new pattern. It's kind of like looking at a family tree. You know how all the branches and roots kind of go out, and you basically it's just like playing heads up. Okay. When you play heads up cash or heads up at the end of a tournament, you try to set up these patterns, and then when one guy breaks that pattern, well, what does that mean? Does that mean he has something? Does that mean that he doesn't? Is he bluffing with this? And until you get to the river and see his hand, you never really know what it means. You just got to make all these little assumptions, and that's basically what I do in the small blind. With this one though, I chose to raise, and
he calls.
So,
yep,
he calls. We go to the flop. The flop is 10 of clubs, king of clubs, 5 of diamonds. There's 726 in the pot, and it's on us. So we flop the nuts.
What's the villain? What's your read on him? The breakdown, is he?
Okay, he's after 101 hands, he's a 32, 26, 24.4 3-better. So he's pretty active. We are 6-handed, so that accounts for a lot of it. But his 3-betting is pretty, definitely stands out.
Well, I think you'd either want to check or bet small, trying to make him think that you're kind of weak and trying to steal it cheap.
Okay.
There'd be no reason to bet 60-70% of pot here. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. I mean, if you just think he's the type of guy who's just going to make a play on it. But yeah, I would probably c-bet. I mean, if you're c-betting 100% from the small blind when you raise, then you got to c-bet here.
Yeah, I learned something about my game here reviewing this tournament, and I don't know how I never saw it before, but I c-bet so often, I think too often. After talking with James, my c-bet percentage is in the high 70s, and I think that's just too high. I think I should be probably more than 60 and less than 70. So I think, 2/3 of the time, 65, 66%, I think would probably be ideal. And what I learned about that after reviewing this tournament is I think my checking range on the flop is actually stronger than my c-betting range, which is wildly exploitable if you know it. And I need to work on that. I need to work on having more of a balanced c-betting range and a balanced checking range than just c-betting so much. I think is a big leak in my game. And so after saying that, you can probably guess that I checked the flop, and he bets 300 into a 726 pot, and I don't see any reason to raise here. Do you? Just calling?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Or, yeah, you could min click it back, I suppose. The problem is if you raise turns and rivers, that looks much stronger.
Ah,
Like in terms of building the pot. Like right now, he might think, "Oh, that's just BS." But like I said, if you want to like build the pot, it's going to be hard if he's got nothing, or if he's got a marginal hand. Like if you check raise the turn, I think you're going to be getting lots of folds. Where here he might call you with a 10, see what you do on the turn. You might be able to get a little more money in there, but so I wouldn't say there's no reason not to raise here, but yeah, I would probably just call.
Okay. Okay, I call. The pot is 1326. I have 9,000 behind. He has 8,000 behind.
Okay.
So the turn is the 6 of diamonds. So the board right now is 10 of clubs, king of clubs, 5 of diamonds, 6 of diamonds. And I've got the king of spades and hearts.
Okay.
What are you thinking on this turn? Are we leading, checking?
I guess checking. Again, the way this guy's numbers are, we think he just has so much crap in his range quite a few times, right? Especially blind versus blind. On the other hand, if it's a guy who's like really active, I'm tempted to like donk lead small. Like if I was, because like out of pride or whatever, if what is it, 1,300 something in the pot?
Yeah, 1326.
Like if a guy who's already bluffed that at once doesn't want to give up easily, too, just something to throw out there. Like if you were to bet some small amount, like 455 here, like you were chasing a draw, trying to make it cheap. Kind of, it looks like that. And even if this guy has a crummy hand, he might want to try to push you off it. So just throwing that would be the reason that I would donk lead, more than like, oh, there's two flush draws out there. I want to make sure, I want to protect my hand, kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, and if you're going to check and bet, I guess now is you got to check raise, right?
Okay.
Well, you don't have to. Just check calling all the way to the river, just hoping to get him to get one more bet in there. Like I said, the check raise at this point looks so strong. You see how I contradict myself every 9 seconds? It's just I'm just flat. Well, we don't unlike you don't give me these hands ahead of time, so I just kind of fly by the seat of my pants here.
I like doing it like this. They get, the listener gets to hear it for real and how we're really thinking in the moment. We could go over them ahead of time, and you could be screen sharing with me right now. But I think this is more fun.
Well, you want to get more money in the pot, more chips in the pot, and you want to make your bet look shaky. You want to make it look like you're stealing somehow. So whatever the hell best way is for that, let the listeners figure it out from there.
Yeah.
I don't. No. Okay. What did you do here, Steve?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that, because my thought, I thought I wanted to bet on the turn here, and the only reason is because I thought that the 5 and 6 and the 10 kind of hit his range more than mine, because he's calling in the big blind. I thought that I might be able to get him to do something with the 5, 6 of diamonds out there. So I led. I like what you're saying about the leading smaller, making it like 450 into a 1300, because I went 588. So I did go less than half pot, but I like your idea about making it smaller. I let out for 588, and then to my Felice, to my happiness, he made it 1300.
Okay, good news there.
Yes. So what are you thinking at this point?
I mean, I guess I was assuming he had crap, and he might very well have crap. But if you call here, he should be shutting his crap down on the river regardless. But maybe not. I'm probably just re-raising and hoping he has a hand, hoping for some reason he defended his blind with 10-6 and it just hit 2 pair.
Okay.
Or that he now has some sort of draw, and he's going to shove it in there.
Okay.
I mean, again, the problem with that is if you just flat, then and he's got a 10, if he's got a marginal hand or nothing, he's probably checking behind on the river. Like if he's got a draw now, if you raise, he's going to call certainly, but he might shut it down on the river. But at this point, all along, I've been thinking the guy has had jack shit and trying to rep your hand as being marginally greater than jack shit.
Yeah.
He still might have it, but at this point, I'm probably just going to raise and hope the guy's got a hand, and if not, you just want a decent pot.
Okay. All right. Maybe I did play it okay. I did that. I re-raised and then he folded pretty quickly. So I thought, I was thinking maybe a call there would have been better. Now, what's your sizing though? If he's got, I made it 588, he made it 1300, and he's got 66 behind. What? I've got him covered. I've got 85. What would your sizing be there if you're going to re-raise him?
The funny thing is, I'm just having a flash that my 4-bet sizing is often pretty arbitrary. Like I've got a very specific mathematical what 3-bet sizing should be in and out of position. So it's funny. I was thinking about this. I was thinking, well, next time we have Daryl Jace on, man, we got to ask him that 4-bet sizing. I don't know if there's a TPE video. So often I'm just coming up with a number here,
Okay.
But it really should
I feel like I'm doing the same thing. Yeah.
It really should not matter almost at this point where it's not like, I don't think if you bet 2,100 versus 2,500, that changes whether he's going to proceed with a 10 or not.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But my first instinct was he raises 800. I'm going to be raising, 1,400 or something. Make it like, but I guess you're committing. I guess you don't here. I guess obviously smaller, 22.55 or something. Make it look like give him. He still has fold equity.
Yeah.
He could still. I mean, if he's really a Sneidman-esque player, he could be really belligerent here. It's like, oh, this guy's still trying to get the damn pot cheap with his small donk lead and now his small 3-bet.
Yeah.
But
okay.
it's going to be it should be on the smaller side for sure. Under whatever your stack is, a third of it.
Okay.
What'd you say? What'd you have in your stack? 6,500.
Let's see. After I bet the turn, I've got 8,500.
Oh, yeah. Whatever the min raise, I guess even would make sense, but maybe a little bit more, 23.88 or something.
Okay.
It's conjecture. This is a spot where I confess I would not be able to defend whatever sizing I say too adamantly. What was your sizing, Steve?
I went too big. I went 3,100. I wanted to make it look like I'm trying to do just what you say, just trying to click it back like we're getting in a little pissing match. And if he shoves, he can get me to fold my ace high. And right after I typed it in and hit enter, I went, wait a minute, that was way too big. And then he snap folded. I'm like, oh, damn it. I'm like, so when he snap folded, I knew he didn't have anything. And I was like, that was it right there. Like my sizing should have been better on that so that he could think he could shove, his pocket fours that he's turning into a bluff on the turn. And I just made it too big. I like, probably no bigger than 25. Because he's got 66 behind. So if I make it 25, he can reshove that 66. Right. And
like I said, your 4-bet sizing, why am I calling it 4-bet sizing? I was thinking pre-flop, but even turn, whatever. I guess the more I think about it, I think that rather than bet sizing, the question is just flatting his bet. Increase, is he going to bet the river a lot of times? Is he going to take a shot at it?
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to that. There would seem to be a lot of good cards. If he's going to be putting you on a draw, like I said, he's got pocket deuces or something like that, then any brick on the river, he might try to steal the pot. He might try to buy it. Or conversely, I guess you could say if one of the draws come through, if you now have three to a suit.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know, but that more than worried about the sizing there, because either way it looks ridiculously strong. It's the question is, was he going to take one more shot on the river? And against this villain with his numbers, maybe he was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I said, once he raises, I'm just going to, let's hope maybe he's got a hand here. Maybe he actually has a hand. Maybe he's picked up a draw of some kind.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe.
But yeah, I would say the size was a little too big for sure.
Okay.
I got a quick cash hand, Steve, from last night. If you'd like for me to, if I can discuss that one.
All right, let's do it.
Quickly, of course, we got to state the obvious. Again, I said no cash games ever a month ago.
We've learned what to expect. You don't have to justify.
And once again, I went to my bank in the afternoon and said, this is the last ever withdrawal. And once again, I headed over to the casino. And again, I said, this is the new improved Mike 2.0, though, who's going to just try to avoid the high variance spots and just be happy just to make a few bucks there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like the third or fourth hand. I've just sat down.
Okay.
And of course, there's been, I think the last time I was talking cash, I talked about how I was down 3 buy-ins within 17 minutes, I was down $4,000.
I remember that.
So now I'm constant. And then I had one where I went in there and lost my buy-in the very first hand at aces cracked and got the hell out of there. So this is all pertinent here in this hand. The under the gun guy limps.
Wait, was this from the same session or is this a new session?
This was last night.
Oh, okay. All right.
The under the gun player limps $5, and I am next to act, and I have 2 red kings.
Now this is 5-5, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you're UTG +1?
Yes.
Okay, UTG 1, and Hero has king. 2 red kings?
Yes.
That's diamonds. Okay. What'd you make it? 25 or?
I made it 40.
Oh wow. Okay. People are giving action to.
Not always, but this allows me to raise, maybe steal cheaper. But yeah, for the most part, I think that's something else I discussed recently. Where it's just bet sizing in cash games. My bet sizing's been way too low. People just want to see flops.
Okay.
So this is probably going to be something more standard you'll see from me if I play cash, where it's just C bets bigger, 3 bets bigger, everything.
Okay.
Watching some of the better players, I think that's how they do it.
Okay.
So I make it 40, folds around to the small blind, who will be the main villain from this hand, and Asian guy, early 30s maybe, wearing sunglasses. I've never played against him before.
Okay.
Like I said, my first vibe is that this guy's probably pretty good.
Okay.
So he calls, and the big blind folds, and the limper folds.
Okay, small blind call. He limps under the gun and folds, huh?
Yes.
Note to self: we want to play more hands with him. Okay. All right. So the big blind folds under the gun folds. So we're going to the flop with 90 in the pot.
Correct.
Okay. Stevie can add. All right. And what? So you just sat down. So you really don't have any reads on this guy.
No.
Okay.
Although he has his chips in a tray. I don't know if that's relevant. I've never seen like a top player keeps their chips in a tray.
Now, did he just sit down and he hasn't taken the chips out, or has he been there since before you got there? And
he's been there. He's been there since before I got there. But
okay. I wonder if he was doing that because he's getting ready to leave, or
I don't know. A lot of players do that here for some reason.
Okay.
They get the tray and just keep them in the tray.
Okay.
I find that curious. I don't know.
Yeah,
so
I've never done that.
I don't really incorporate that into to the play. But in terms of like the top players there, I can't think of one who does that.
Yeah.
The guys who are the pros.
Yeah, I've never done that. I don't like them in the tray. I want to get them out as soon as possible. Okay. All right. So we go to the flop.
The flop is Jack 10-8. The Jack and the 10 are diamonds.
The Jack and the 8 are diamonds?
Jack and the 10.
Jack and the 10. Okay, what's small blind do?
Checks.
You have the king of diamonds, which is good. You're blocking a lot of, well, maybe not a lot, but a fair amount of his draws. You're blocking King Queen pretty hard. Man, this may sound super super nitty, but I almost like a check behind for pot control here. This just, well, he was in the small blind. I mean, well, this just kind of smacks his range more than I'd kind of like to. I kind of like a check actually. As nitty as that sounds, I just want to keep the pot small, and if we get a turn of like a 2 or something, then we can go from there. But if the turn is just terrible, like a queen or an ace or yeah, or
Well, why?
pairing the board or
I
another
mean,
diamond or
what do you? I mean, the overcall from the small blind. I mean, he shouldn't have Jack 10 there, right? I mean, when you say it smacks his range, you're worried about a set maybe a little bit, but Kings is a big hand. So you're kind of hoping it hit his range. You're hoping he has Ace Jack, King Jack, Queen Jack here, right?
yeah. I guess what I'm thinking, I was putting him on a lot of pairs. Maybe fives plus. Probably re-raising there with queens plus. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe this is a good flop. It just looks really.
Well, if you're putting him on mostly pairs, then and nothing queens, so then basically he's got a set or he's got kind of a pretty crappy hand now. So that would be a decent argument for checking behind, not simply to pot control, but him to think his pairs good. He now puts me on a big ace or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you think the pocket fives are going to fold here, which most certainly they are,
Yeah.
then that would be good to check behind. But yeah, it didn't really occur. I didn't dislike the flop too much. I mean, it did occur to me that you could have a set here. Tens and jacks would be the hands would make most sense for someone who's going to overcall, and especially out of position.
Okay.
But I decided to see bet.
And into a pot of 90, what do you make it, 50?
I made it 65.
Okay. I like it.
And he quickly calls.
Okay, small blind 65. Okay, 130 plus 90, 220 in the pot?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you take, again, I'm always into these timing tells. The fact that he quickly calls, doesn't that take sets out of his range a lot of times against the average villain?
I would put him more on like a draw or top pair than I would sets.
Just throwing that out there. I think
probably.
It's kind of relevant to does this already cap his range when he immediately snap
Just
calls.
Quickly calls. Maybe I would be thinking when people quickly call like that. My first thought is they have some kind of draw, and then after that, then I go from there. So the draws that I would put in there is like pocket nines, maybe. We just sat down with this guy, so we don't know if he's calling with something like ace nine. I would think that most villains there would fold ace nine, even suited in the small blind, but who knows?
8-9 suited would make a hell of a lot more sense than ace nine.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
If he's putting me on a big hand and wants to crack it,
yeah.
Ace nine is 8-9 is a better hand. 8-9 suited, but
yeah.
Anyways,
when they call real quick like that, my first thought is it looks like they have some kind of draw, and I'm gonna kind of go from there.
So the $220 in the pot, and the turn is another 8, not of diamonds.
Okay.
And he quickly checks.
What are we getting action from? We're getting action from Ace Jack. You blocked King Jack pretty hard, but he could have that. King Jack. We're getting action from Queen Jack. We're getting action from a 9.
Queen King.
Queen King. You blocked that pretty hard, but yeah, Queen King is calling.
Diamond draw, ace diamonds with something else.
Ace
Although
diamonds,
I don't
yeah.
think there's that many diamond draws in there unless but
Well,
could have it.
he could have ace queen of diamonds. He can't have ace jack. He can't have ace ten of diamonds. Probably not ace nine of diamonds, just like we talked before. He can't have ace king of diamonds because you have that.
So if you're putting him on draws or one pair hands, then we should be betting here every time. We want to charge him for the draws and the one pair hands we beat.
Yeah.
I mean, or are you still? I mean, your flop concern was pot control. Is that now still in the back of your mind? Or
Yeah, for some reason, I just feel very cautious on this hand, and I can't articulate why it is. It just feels like he could have it here, and I kind of like a check on the turn. But the way you're describing it, I'm thinking, well, maybe I'm fucked up here. Maybe I'm missing some value in spots like this, and I need to open up a little bit more.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I decided to check.
Okay.
Although afterwards, well, we won't. I thought he had a jack. I put him on ace jack, or I thought maybe queens too, or maybe like queen jack suited.
Okay.
Where he's got the queen of diamonds, he's got the flush blocker too. Or no, if he had queen jack suited, I don't think he calls the queen jack off there. Queen jack, and personally, if I'm there, I'm probably going to overcall with the queen jack suited. So many good things can happen, but fold the queen jack off. Well, I'm definitely folding the queen jack off. But basically, I kind of ranged him just the same you just said, and for some reason, if that's the range you're putting him on, and
then
if
we need to bet,
then you have to bet. And again, sometimes, like I said, I will try to do the opposite timing tells. I will snap call or snap check with sets, with monster hands.
Okay.
Just trying to make it look like I'm pot controlling myself. But so I have no reason to think this guy's incapable of that. But yeah, for some reason I was kind of thinking pot control too.
Okay.
And the river is a four of clubs. It might have been a 5 or a 6. I can't remember. I think it was a 4 of clubs though.
Okay.
So final board, Jack 10, 8, 8, 4, with no flush draw.
Okay.
With no flush out there.
Flush didn't get there. And the small blind?
He pretty quickly bets $115.
I don't see anything to do but call here. I don't think it's a good idea to raise. I think you're pretty much bluff catching here, and I think you're catching, and at this point, the way you've played it, he probably thinks that ace jack is good, and snap him off with your kings, and if he's got pocket tens, well played, sir. But yeah, I don't see anything to do but call.
Well, if he's bluff catching or if he's betting a jack, then why not raise? Because the bluffs are going to be folding anyways, unless he finds the courage for a bluff shove. And do you agree he's calling with jacks here? Or do you think
with
he's
a pair of jacks? You mean, or you mean
with just one jack? Do you think he's going to find a fold?
Oh, if you raise?
If I raise, do you think if I raise, can he call with worse? He's not folding better, obviously. Can he call with worse if you raise?
I don't think so, man. I mean, okay, let's say maybe one hand. Maybe if he didn't re-raise with queens in the small blind, then he's going to call with that. But maybe that.
Well, if you're from his position, what do you think I'm on? Do you think there's any chance I have a big pair? Why wouldn't I bet again on the turn?
Okay, let me.
Does it look like I have ace king or ace queen?
Under the gun, you make it 40. Small blind calls, big blind folds. Under the gun folds. Flop is Jack 10 8 8. Jack 10 8. He checks. You bet 65. Okay, if I'm sitting there with like Queen Jack, I'm check calling, just like he did. Let's see, I check the turn, you check behind. He bets 115. I'm betting for value there with my Jack. And then you make it, let's say, 380. Am I calling there with Queen Jack? That would mean that I would have had to misread you the whole way, and now I got to rethink the whole hand. That's an interesting point. I might call there, yeah, with the Jack. Okay, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe there is value in raising. Okay, now if he comes over the top of you again after you raise, we're never calling, right?
Unlikely. I mean, I trust my live reads a lot, probably more than I should. But the way the hand played out, I would have been very suspicious. I mean, basically, I thought I had him ranged to one pair.
Okay.
I felt pretty strongly that's what he had, which of course means that I should be raising. If he shoves there, then I'd study. I got a decision. I guess I'd have to give him credit for a hand, but depending on my raise size, I only bought in for 1,100 last night, so I would only at this point have 700 more, and there would have been whatever 1,600 in the pot. You know what I mean? So I would be getting better than 2-1. So, but it would certainly look like he has it. Yeah, I would have to think I'm in a have to fold situation where he has played his jacks or tens very well, and I got to fold.
Yeah. Yeah, now that you mention that, you might, there might be value in raising there. Make it like, what did I say initially? 380? That might be a little big. Maybe 350, 320, something like that.
Well, for whatever reason, I just, like I said, I don't like how I play this hand. I didn't think it through too much, and I just snap called. Okay. I just threw the chips out there. Didn't even stop to think, well, is a raise good here? Can he, again, just at least to take some time there. Just, again, I hate the people who just tank fucking left and right all over the time, but 10 seconds at least. If I waited 5 seconds, I would at least ask the question, should I be raising here?
Yeah.
But I called, he had queens.
Oh, really? Okay, so he didn't re-raise with queens.
So he had pretty much exactly the hand I thought he had.
Yeah.
I mean, I was specifically thinking, he either had ace jack suited or queens. I was thinking, because even ace jack off, I don't think he's calling, or I don't know. But so, like I said, this is I on one level, I guess I'm sort of like, this is a more mature way. I don't want to lose 1,100 the first hand.
Yeah.
and I certainly might have called on the river if he shoved, and he could, of course, had it. And think, no, he's busted draw, blah blah blah, Asian kid. He's going off the reservation here. He's stuck 2,500. I don't even know, and he wants to, this is a spite shove. He wants to steal this pot. But I mean, obviously, looking at the hands, if we lost a lot of value there, if I bet 150 on the turn and then 350 on the river, that's another almost $400 more I would have got out of him. And he's probably, he might have found a fold on the river, but he's definitely calling the turn. And I think he's got to call the river too with his hand. I mean, he's at the top of his range, and it's just, but anyways, I don't really mind. Yeah. I mean, if I believe my live read that he's not slow playing an absolute monster, then it's a must bet on the turn, and it's a must raise on the river too, I think. But I mean, I can't kill myself for that. I mean, my first hand, I won $200, and I had a winning session. I made like $700, nothing major.
Nice.
Would have been bigger. I had set over set later, and that kind of put a crimp on my night. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I want to applaud myself for new Mike being more control, but old Mike would have just said, "Oh, I got kings here. Let's get some money in the pot." And in this particular case, I would have been right.
Yeah.
But I more just going through the game flow. I just did not. If you start breaking down his range, then just betting if he's got a one pair hand or a bluff or a draw, then you got to bet. You got to bet your kings there.
Yeah.
You're giving up value. So don't love how I played that hand. I think the river, even min click it back. There's so much more him calling than him re-raising, I think. But like I said, if you bet big, he's probably folding his jack. Queens, I think he's got a call.
Yeah.
But like I said, he just happened to have the hand. I don't know if it wasn't terrible. Maybe terrible by us. He could have had a misdraw, and that's if we didn't bet, the only way we were to get that other $115 from him was checking on the turn.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder why I felt so cautious on this. Because I think his range is a little bit stronger in the small blind because of the under the gun limp.
Well,
unless he knows that guy, he's been playing there for 3 hours, and he knows the guy just limps with absolute shit, and he knows that he's going to fold to this 40 raise. He could open it up quite a bit there, but.
Well, again, this is the typical cash game here, where everyone's got. This guy probably has $1,500, 300 big blinds. So if he calls $40 with pocket sixes, and then the guy repops to 200, it's not the end of the world to him either.
Yeah,
it's worth the risk of seeing a flop and maybe cracking a big hand.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got a lot of pairs and some big Broadway cards. So yeah, he certainly could have hit a set there. He doesn't have that. He doesn't really have a lot of crap in his hands. But basically, yeah, every card and like I said, the flop him insta calling to me like really took the sets out of possibility, I thought.
Yeah. Okay.
So I kind of, and by the river I put him on his exact hand, and then for some reason it didn't even occur to me to raise.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucked. But you gotta get value from these hands, man. There's not that many times you bump kings into queens, and
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you missed some value there.
Definitely. So do we want to have a briefer show this time?
A briefer show?
Well, I'm saying, do we call it a wrap here and finally have a show that's under an hour and a half?
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. I think this month I'm going to be super busy with moving and all the other stuff that's going on. Yeah, it would be good to. It will save me a huge amount of time on the back end. It sounds like they're doing freaking construction outside right now as we're going. So, let's go ahead and wrap it up. And
it might just be some teenage virgins, Steve, trying to break down your wall to come in and get advice with picking up women. I don't know.
That's extremely likely.
It did sound like construction, though. That would be my first guess.
Right on. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Let's see, what do we got? Go check out the website, HeadsUpPoker.Poker. You can contact us there for coaching, and we got some pictures up on the blog. Tony's been kicking ass on the website. Get your free MP3, and let's see, what else we got? I think that's it, right, Mikey?
That is all.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in, and here is your weekly motivational speech.
Somebody should tell us right at the start of our lives that we're dying. And we might live life to the limit. Every minute of every day. Whatever you want to do it now. There are only so many tomorrows. I say to you that if you're driven by anything other than your love and your spirit, your desire to grow and expand, you're driven by your need to please others, if you're driven by your fear, if you're driven by your past, it's time to free yourself. And the way to do it is decide consciously what you want your life to be about.